Comfort is such a seductive thing. It whispers to you that you've earned the right to slow down, that you've done enough, that you deserve to stay right where you are. It tells you the temperature is just right, the pace is manageable, and the view is familiar. And because it feels good in the moment, you buy into it. But here's the thing about comfort. While it may seem like a soft blanket, it's actually a cage with velvet bars. You don't even notice when the door quietly closes behind you. That cage is built from routines you no longer question, from excuses you've dressed up as reasons, from a life that feels safe but is slowly shrinking. Comfort convinces you that avoiding risk is wisdom, but in reality, it's often fear wearing a mask. And fear doesn't just keep you from falling, it keeps you from flying. You can't grow if you won't stretch. You can't stretch if you never step outside the limits you've gotten used to. We forget that what feels easy today might be the very thing keeping us small. The job that pays enough to cover your bills but never challenges you, the relationship that doesn't hurt but doesn't inspire, the habits that don't push you but keep you busy enough to feel productive. Comfort offers you a quiet life, but it also demands you trade in your potential for predictability. I'm not saying comfort has no place in your life. Rest matters, recovery matters. But when comfort stops being a pause to recharge and starts being the default way you live, it becomes dangerous. It lulls you into believing that because you're not actively suffering, you're okay. But okay is not the same as fulfilled. Okay is not the same as alive. And here's the truth. Escaping that cage is hard. It's uncomfortable. It's waking up earlier than you want to. It's putting yourself in rooms where you feel out of your depth. It's showing up to the gym when no one else will see the work you're putting in. It's choosing the conversation you've been avoiding, the application you've been postponing, the risk you've been postponing because you're scared of failing. The cage of comfort doesn't unlock with ease, it breaks open with effort. What's tricky is that your comfort zone expands or contracts based on your choices. Every time you step into something hard, you push the walls back, giving yourself more space to live, more air to breathe, more room to grow. But every time you choose the easy way, those walls inch closer, and you may not notice it day by day, but one day you'll wake up and realize you have no room left to move. Ask yourself, what's the cost of staying where you are? If you're brutally honest, is your comfort giving you life, or is it slowly stealing it? Are you choosing to remain still because it's truly what you want, or because moving forward would demand more of you than you feel ready to give? The truth is, nothing worth having comes without discomfort. You want strength, you'll have to lift more than you think you can. You want mastery, you'll have to stumble through being a beginner. You want purpose, you'll have to walk roads that scare you. Comfort will never deliver these things. It can only preserve what you already have. Life will test you either way. There will be pain in the push, and there will be pain in the stagnation. But at least the pain of growth gives you something back. It transforms you. It shapes you into the person who can handle more, achieve more, live more. The pain of comfort simply keeps you in the same place, convincing you that someday is still an option. But someday is the most dangerous lie you can believe, because one day you'll run out of them. So don't be fooled by the softness of comfort. It's not there to free you. It's there to keep you exactly where you are. And if where you are isn't where you want to be, then comfort is not your friend. It's your cage. And the only way out is to choose the harder road now, so you can live the life comfort will never give you. Break the lock, step into the cold air, feel your legs shake. That trembling isn't weakness, it's freedom being born. Discipline is one of those words people love to admire from a distance but struggle to embrace up close. We romanticize the idea of being disciplined, of having the self-control to follow through no matter what. But in reality, discipline isn't glamorous. It's showing up when the mood is gone. It's doing the work when the excitement has faded. It's saying no to what feels good now so you can say yes to what matters later, and yes, it's hard. There's no sugar coating it. The hard part is that discipline often feels like you're depriving yourself in the moment. Waking up before the sun feels unnatural. Sticking to a budget feels restrictive. Eating clean when everyone else is indulging feels unfair. You look around and see people who seem to be enjoying their lives without the same constraints, and a voice in your head says, "Why can't I just live like that?" But here's the truth: they will pay their price later. And the price they pay is one you don't want to owe. Because while discipline is hard in the moment, regret is heavier. It lingers. It doesn't just visit you. It moves in and refuses to leave. Discipline demands that you push through the discomfort of now, but regret forces you to carry the weight of what could have been. For years, that's the difference. Discipline hurts once, regret hurts forever. Think about it. How many people reach a point in their lives where they look back and wish they had started sooner, tried harder, been more consistent? They wish they'd cared less about being comfortable and more about being committed. But wishing doesn't rewind time. No amount of regret can buy back the days, months, or years you let slip away because you didn't want to deal with the inconvenience of discipline. It's easy to tell yourself you'll get serious tomorrow, that you'll start next week, next month, next year. But discipline isn't something you switch on when life gets easier. It's something you build when life is hard. If you wait for the perfect conditions, you'll wait your entire life. The people who seem unstoppable aren't more talented than you. They've just decided that discipline is non-negotiable, no matter how they feel. And here's the thing: discipline and regret are both uncomfortable. The difference is that discipline gives you something in return. It gives you progress, momentum, confidence. You may not love the process in the moment, but you'll love the results it creates. Regret, on the other hand, only takes. It leaves you with nothing but a deep ache for the life you could have had. Yes, there will be mornings when the alarm feels cruel, days when the workout feels impossible, moments when the temptation to break your commitment will be almost unbearable. But every time you choose discipline, you're making a deposit into your future. Every rep, every page, every hour of practice is a payment toward the life you say you want. And when that day comes, and it will, when you step into that moment of achievement, you'll be grateful for every ounce of hard you endured. Discipline is a short-term sacrifice for a long-term reward. Regret is a short-term escape that creates a long-term loss, and you have to decide which pain you're willing to live with. One pain shapes you, the other shrinks you. One lifts you higher, the other chains you to the past. Don't think of discipline as punishment. It's proof that you're serious about your future. It's the daily vote you cast for the person you want to become, and the more votes you cast, the stronger that person becomes. One day, the habits that feel heavy now will feel natural. What once took every ounce of willpower will become automatic, and that's when you'll realize you weren't just building habits, you were building yourself. You can live with the difficulty of staying committed, or you can live with the haunting thought of "I could have, but I didn't." Both are hard, but only one leads to the life you dream about when no one's watching. So choose your hard, endure the discipline now, so you never have to taste the bitterness of regret later. The effort will end, but the reward will last. The moment of discomfort will pass, but the victory will stay. And when you look back years from now, you'll be thankful you chose the pain that built you instead of the pain that broke you. Sacrifice is one of those things we often hope we can avoid, like it's a punishment for the unlucky or the overly ambitious. But the truth is, no matter who you are, you will sacrifice. You don't get to escape it. The only choice you have is whether you sacrifice now for the future you want, or sacrifice later when the opportunity is gone. And that decision will shape everything. Sacrificing now means you give up comfort, time, convenience, and maybe even approval from people who don't understand your vision. It means saying no, to late nights out because you've got early mornings to chase your goals. It means skipping the instant pleasures so you can invest in something that will take years to grow. It's turning away from distractions, even the tempting ones, because you know every yes to the wrong thing is a no to the right thing. Sacrificing later, though, that's a different kind of pain. That's the sting of realizing you could have been further, you could have been ready, but you chose to wait. It's watching someone else live the life you once dreamed of, not because they were better than you, but because they were willing to make the trade, offs you refuse to make. That's the kind of sacrifice that doesn't just cost you opportunities, it costs you peace. Every time you choose to avoid the small sacrifices now, you're really choosing the bigger sacrifices later. If you won't sacrifice that extra hour of sleep to work on your health, you may sacrifice years of it later dealing with illness. If you won't sacrifice a few luxuries to build savings or invest, you may sacrifice your financial freedom later when you need it most. If you won't sacrifice time to work on your dream today, you may sacrifice the dream entirely when life gets too crowded to fit it in. Sacrifices are like seeds. You plant them now, and they grow into the harvest you'll have later. But if you keep eating the seeds because you want the taste right now, you'll have nothing left to plant. And when you look around in the future and see other people reaping abundance, you'll have to face the truth. You had seeds too. You just didn't put them in the ground. The thing about sacrifice is that it rarely feels fair in the moment. You'll see people coasting, doing the bare minimum and still getting by. You'll see friends spending freely while you budget carefully. You'll see others taking weekends off while you're working through yours. And it's tempting to think, why am I the one giving up so much? But that's where you have to remember, you're not playing the same game they are. You're not building for the same finish line. The people who win in life are not the ones who avoid sacrifice. They're the ones who decide what's worth sacrificing for. They see the bigger picture and are willing to pay the price now because they know the cost later will be far greater. That's why elite athletes train when no one's watching. That's why entrepreneurs invest before they can fully afford to. That's why leaders spend years learning before they start leading. They've made peace with the truth. There is no harvest without planting, and planting always costs something. Sometimes the sacrifice isn't just material, it's emotional. It's letting go of relationships that pull you backward. It's releasing habits that feel comforting but keep you small. It's stepping into situations where you might fail just for the chance to grow. And yes, it's hard, but so is waking up one day and realizing you've run out of time to do what you were meant to do. If you're going to pay a price either way, why not pay it in advance and reap the benefits instead of paying it later when there's nothing left to gain? That's the trade, that's the choice, and no one can make it for you. The road you want to walk will demand something from you. It always does. But if you give what it asks for now, your focus, your discipline, your energy, you'll one day look back and be grateful you made the trade. Because the pain of sacrifice fades, but the pain of missing your moment will stay. So decide which heart you're willing to live with. Because whether you pay now or pay later, the bill will come due. And only one payment buys you the future you've been dreaming of. Consistency is one of those things that looks simple on paper, but feels relentless in practice. It's not the burst of energy at the start that gets you results. It's the steady, sometimes unexciting commitment to keep showing up long after the excitement is gone. And yes, it hurts. It hurts to push through the days when motivation has vanished, when no one is watching, when it feels like progress is moving at a crawl. But you know what hurts more? Having to start over. Starting over means you lost the ground you fought to gain. It means the muscles you built have weakened, the skills you sharpened have dulled, and the habits you worked so hard to create have slipped away. It's that sinking feeling of realizing that you're back at the beginning, not because you didn't know what to do, but because you stopped doing it. And that kind of hurt cuts deeper than the discomfort of staying consistent. Consistency is a quiet grind. It's waking up and doing the thing even when you'd rather do anything else. It's showing up to the workout, sitting down to write, making the calls, studying the material. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. And the thing is, the reward isn't immediate. You don't get fireworks every time you show up. Most days it feels like nothing is happening, but something is. The progress you can't yet see is stacking in your favor. When you break that streak, though, when you give in to the temptation to take a little break, that turns into weeks or months, you undo more than you think. You don't just lose physical progress, you lose momentum, and momentum is a powerful force. It's harder to get it moving than it is to keep it moving. That's why starting over feels so heavy, because you have to push past the resistance all over again. And here's the thing, consistency and starting over are both hard. But they're hard in different ways. Consistency asks you to endure the daily discomfort of showing up. Starting over demands that you swallow the frustration of knowing you have to rebuild what you already built once. One pain moves you forward, the other drags you back. People often talk about how exhausting it is to stay disciplined day after day, but what's more exhausting is the mental weight of regret, knowing you had something in your hands and let it slip away because you got tired. Consistency may tire you physically, but starting over will tire your spirit. Think about it. If you've ever stopped and restarted a habit, you know how humbling it feels. That first workout back after months off feels 10 times harder than it needs to be. That first day back at the desk after weeks of avoiding your project feels awkward and slow. You remember how much smoother it used to feel, and that memory is a reminder of what you lost. That's the cost of breaking consistency. But if you keep going, if you push through those boring, repetitive, not so glamorous days, you protect yourself from that cost. Every time you choose to stay on track, you're protecting the work you've already done. You're making sure that all the sweat, effort, and sacrifice that got you here doesn't go to waste. You have to decide which pain is worth living with. The daily sting of consistency may feel sharp at times, but it's fleeting. You finish the task, you check it off, you move on. The pain of starting over, though, lingers. It sits in the back of your mind, reminding you that you could have avoided it if you had just kept going. The truth is, success isn't built on talent alone. It's built on the stubbornness to keep going when quitting would be easier. That stubbornness is what separates people who dream from people who achieve. So when the temptation comes to skip a day, to take a break, to start again on Monday, remember this: you're not just making a small choice for today, you're making a choice that could determine whether you keep your momentum or lose it. And getting it back will cost far more than keeping it alive. Choose the pain that protects your progress, not the pain that erases it. Because consistency may hurt now, but starting over will hurt for far longer. Facing the truth is one of the hardest things you will ever do, because truth doesn't bend to your comfort. It doesn't soften itself to protect your feelings. It stands there, unshaken, showing you exactly what is, whether you like it or not. And when that truth exposes the gaps between where you are and where you could be, between who you are and who you pretend to be, it can feel unbearable. But as heavy as that reality may be, living a lie will always weigh more. When you face the truth, you deal with the discomfort up front. You feel the sting of admitting your mistakes, the shame of acknowledging your weaknesses, the frustration of confronting your excuses. It's raw and unfiltered, but it's real. And because it's real, you can work with it. You can grow from it. You can make changes that actually matter. Living a lie, on the other hand, gives you short-term relief. You get to avoid the mirror. You get to tell yourself stories that keep you safe from judgment, both from others and from yourself. You get to play the part, smile through the struggle, and convince everyone that you're doing just fine. But deep down, you know you're not where you want to be. You know you're not putting in what you could be. You know there's a gap between the image you present and the reality you live. And carrying that kind of double life drains you in ways you can't even measure. The danger of living a lie is that it feels easier at first. You can avoid the hard conversations, dodge the accountability, and sidestep the work required to change. But what you're really doing is trading temporary comfort for long-term damage. The longer you avoid the truth, the bigger the lie you have to keep alive, and one day that lie becomes too heavy to carry. The truth might make you uncomfortable, but it will set you free. It will strip away the illusions, the false narratives, the excuses you've been hiding behind. It will force you to see things as they are, not worse than they are, not better than they are, just as they are. And once you see clearly, you can choose differently. You can decide what you're willing to change, what you're willing to fight for, what you're no longer willing to tolerate. It takes courage to face the truth about your habits, your choices, your results. It's not just about admitting when you've failed. It's also about admitting when you've settled, and that's often even harder because it means acknowledging that you've been capable of more all along. That's a hard pill to swallow, but once you do, you unlock the possibility of becoming more. You can't improve what you won't acknowledge. You can't fix what you won't face. You can't grow if you keep hiding from the reality of where you stand. And yes, the truth might hurt, but at least it hurts with purpose. The pain of living a lie has no purpose. It only preserves the problem. Ask yourself, what's the cost of not facing the truth? What's the cost of pretending your finances are fine when they're not? Of pretending your health is okay when it isn't? Of pretending your relationship is strong when it's falling apart? Those lies might shield you from discomfort in the moment, but they will eventually demand payment in full. And the longer you wait, the higher the price. You have to decide which heart you're willing to live with. The heart of facing the truth, feeling its sting, and doing something about it. Or the heart of carrying the weight of a lie, day after day, until it breaks you. One will free you, the other will bury you. So be brave enough to look your truth in the eye. It might be messy, it might be uncomfortable, it might shake you, but it will also be the starting point for everything you've been hoping to become. Because only when you face it can you change it. And only when you change it can you live without the shadow of the life you were never honest enough to claim. Pain is unavoidable. That's the part no one likes to talk about. Whether you choose to grow or choose to stay the same, you will face pain either way. The difference is what that pain gives you, or takes from you. Growth demands pain because it stretches you beyond what's comfortable. Staying stuck demands pain because it keeps you in a place that slowly eats away at your spirit. You can't escape it. You can only decide which pain you're willing to live with. The pain of growth is sharp but purposeful. It's the ache of muscles that are getting stronger. It's the sting of making mistakes while you learn something new. It's the discomfort of being in rooms where you feel like you don't quite belong yet. It's the challenge of breaking habits you've had for years and replacing them with ones that serve where you're going. This pain works for you. It builds you. It makes you more capable, more resilient, more prepared for the life you say you want. The pain of staying stuck, though, is a quiet kind of misery. It's waking up and knowing today will look exactly like yesterday, and tomorrow will look exactly like today. It's feeling a constant, dull ache of dissatisfaction because deep down you know you're not living up to your potential. It's the frustration of watching others grow while you stay in the same place, not because you couldn't move forward, but because you wouldn't. This pain works against you. It slowly erodes your confidence, your passion, and your hope. People often choose the pain of staying stuck because it feels easier at first. It doesn't demand as much effort. You don't have to face fear, uncertainty, or failure. But that's the trick. It's not easier, it's just slower. The damage builds over time, and one day you wake up with the realization that years have passed and nothing has changed. That's a pain that doesn't just sting, it haunts you. Growth pain, on the other hand, is immediate. You feel it in the moment. You feel the sweat, the frustration, the fatigue, but you also feel the small wins stacking up, the moments of pride when you push through what you thought you couldn't do. It's the kind of pain that pays you back. It's important to understand that choosing growth doesn't mean the pain disappears quickly. In fact, sometimes it gets harder before it gets easier. When you push yourself into new territory, you'll face resistance, both from the world and from within yourself. Your mind will try to pull you back to safety, to the place it knows. That's when you have to remind yourself the pain of growth is temporary, but the pain of staying stuck is permanent. Every step forward will test you. You'll have moments where you question whether it's worth it. And in those moments, you have to zoom out, look at the bigger picture. Ask yourself, if I stop now, what pain am I choosing instead? Because stopping isn't a return to peace, it's a return to the slow suffocation of unfulfilled potential. You are going to pay a price either way. If you grow, you'll pay with effort, time, and persistence. If you stay stuck, you'll pay with regret, missed opportunities, and the dull ache of knowing you could have been more. One price leaves you stronger, the other leaves you smaller. You can't dodge the pain, but you can make it count. If you're going to hurt, let it be because you're stretching, reaching, breaking through barriers. Let it be because you're building something worth keeping. Let it be because you chose to take on the challenge now instead of letting the years drain away while you wait for a better time that never comes. In the end, the choice isn't between pain and no pain, it's between the pain that changes you and the pain that chains you. Only one of those leads to the life you've been imagining every time you tell yourself you want more. And you do want more. You just have to decide if you're willing to endure the hard that will give it to you. So take the pain that grows you, let it work on you, shape you, and prepare you. Because if you're going to hurt either way, you might as well come out the other side stronger than you've ever been.